Good morning,
Good afternoon.
good evening, wherever you happen to be on this amazing and sometimes complex planet of ours.
Yeah, so we want to talk a little bit about something called simplicity.
But first, I am Ariel.
And I am the other one.
Shia. Collectively, we're the Canes, and today is about simplicity. I almost said sympathy. Simplicity.
Well, yes.
I'm going to read the description because it's fun. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated.
I didn't say that.
That's a, well, you could have. It's a quote by Confucius.
I
And
could have.
here's the text. Does your life sometimes feel it's just too complicated? Hint, life gets simple when you're being here. Join us, the Canes, in this lighthearted episode and experience the possibility.
Of living made easy.
And yes, we do finish each other's sentences.
Yes, we do.
So let's listen today. So easy to set up a whole rebuttal in your brain.
Well, I was watching the news this morning, and there were two candidates for elective office that are running against each other. And I watched these two people yell at each other, neither one of them listening to what the other one had to say.
Oh, this was for one of those special elections.
Right, a special election. And they were, neither one was listening. They had their script and they were going to say what they intended to say. See, listening is a very extraordinary phenomena, because when you actually listen, you receive what the other person is saying, and you don't judge it as good, bad, right, wrong, better, worse, like, dislike, want, not want. You hear what they're saying. That can't hurt you. Believe it or not, hearing what somebody says cannot hurt you. It can, however, jangle your point of view and your need to be right about your point of view if you actually hear it. But, people aren't wrong in their points of view. It's just the information they've been fed coming back out through their particular system of interpretation. Listening has a far greater effect on you personally, though, because when you actually listen, you leave you alone and engage with totality in what another is saying. And most of the time, we compare everything through what we believe to be true. What if what you believe is merely a function of the information that's been programmed into you, and your machinery, internal machineries, manipulating that information and comes out with that information? In computer terms, there's something called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If the computer is programmed with garbage information, then what comes out is garbage information. And it's the same thing with the human mind. So why all this talk about listening? Because it'll pull you into the current moment of your life if you actually listen, using your eyes to see the person that's talking to you, using your ears to hear what they're saying. It can't hurt. It can only hurt your point of view, what you're trying to prove, if what they say doesn't jive with what you believe. Anyway, our listening can transform the quality and experience of our lives.
Well, it already has for me this morning. Well, afternoon, this will be, putting out at noon, but we're recording this in the morning.
In what respects, sweetheart?
Well, it's been a very busy morning, very productive, lots of different, disparate or different aspects of our business and our life I've been attending to, as have you. But I found at the beginning of our recording the podcast for today, I was a little speedy, like I had gained a forward momentum. So even when I read the simplicity description, I was missing some of the words as I was reading it because I was moving too quickly.
Mhm.
And that's not a fault. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing either. It is a fact that from time to time, I speed up. It's almost like energetically, I'm leaning forward into life, which is okay. However, as I'm listening to you speak, I feel as if I've landed in my chair. I'm no less excited about speaking with our guest today. I'm happy to be here, but there's a relaxation in being me that comes along with me, and it doesn't create problems for the future because I'm so quick. I make mistakes that I have to go back and fix.
Mhm.
So listening for me has already made living easy for right now. And I'm enjoying the experience.
Well, that's a good place to call on a guest.
Let's do that.
Ralph, are you there?
Yeah. Welcome to being here.
Hey guys, this is
Hi.
Ralph,
Hi.
and I'm here and I'm calling in from Cologne today.
Nice to have you with us.
Where's Cologne?
Cologne is in Germany.
Oh,
everybody has
thank
to-
you. I bet you there are other colognes around the world.
Yeah, and I thought that everybody knows that Cologne that I'm in.
Well,
Well, you
everybody
know,
Most
should.
everybody.
Everybody should know. But you know, there's a Hamburg in Pennsylvania, which
Not
is
very far from here.
that's right.
Yeah,
I know we're doing a course in Hamburg in April, but
That's
is the
Hamburg,
Hamburg, Germany.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, I will be there. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in person again. Here,
Thank you.
Nice.
here in Germany, not in Cologne.
What was that?
In Germany, he
Yes.
said, yes.
Yeah. And I have to admit, listening to you guys, as you were describing Ariel before I came on, I listened to that too. And I already feel easier, simpler, lighter just by listening to the introduction that you two gave on that show. And I noticed that the difference is that for today, I just settled down, I put my cell phone away, I'm just here to listen. And sometimes when I'm listen to a WhatsApp voicemail or something, I noticed I would do something else at the same time, like listening to that voicemail and trying to read an email at the same time or something like that. And just noticed that this is not listening. So I already feel lighter and settled and also excited to be on the show. It's very interesting, much more, I feel much more myself, much more here.
That's great.
Nice.
Now, did you come here with something you wanted to talk about?
I think it's all in the same range that I love the quote that you just read and that we insist on making our life complicated. I'm asking myself, why would I do this? Because I just experienced the difference.
Well, let's ask you that then. If you, first of all, you have to look for the answer, not in a blame, shame, guilty kind of way, not like you're doing your life wrong. Let's assume, Ralph, that you're a genius. I hope you don't mind that. I'm assuming that
Mhm.
of our listeners as well. It's a hypothesis that we're trying on for the purpose of proving its truth.
Mhm.
So if you're a genius and you're insisting on making your life complex, complicated, dramatic, with tension, you're not stupid. So there has to have been in the early version of Ralph a benefit for that. something that it produced for you or you perceived as producing for you?
I guess it's attention that I
Perhaps
for having things
it's not getting attention, but avoiding being seen for who you really are.
Ah,
Perhaps, and that might be the genius there I was talking about, because I don't think who you really are is at all problematic. Yeah, I also see it from an anthropological point of view where you are born into an ongoing culture that is committed to complexifying life.
mhm.
So you go along with the program without even realizing it's a program.
Yeah.
So, and it comes from, in my estimation, an avoidance of intimacy, intimacy with the moment.
Mhm.
If you can keep yourself busy enough, you don't have to really be in the current moment of your life where your life is taking place. You can be way off in the future. For example, there was all this rain and storms in California. I don't know if you know it, but they got a month's worth of rain in a few hours.
Mhm.
There were landslides and mudslides and trees blown over and all sorts of things. And so we got activated into thinking, our house is surrounded by big trees. We've got acres of big trees. And the question is, should we have some of those trees taken down before a storm like that hits here?
Mhm.
And it falls on our house.
See, so it's about protecting ourselves from some future event that hasn't happened and may or may not happen.
We may actually at some point attend to these trees. It may be a good idea. We'll look at it. But it's certainly interesting that the mind's propensity to make it a dramatic situation that needs to be attended to in this moment to ensure our future survival.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see that, especially in the field that I'm working in. Together with my husband, we run a theater, we own a theater. We both play in the shows, we produce the shows, I write the show, and and also direct the show. And there's every year we change the program. There's every year an opening night that has to be, there is a date that has to be planned. And I have a feeling without all that drama around it, it wouldn't feel, even if I try to keep it as simple as I can, there comes to the point where it all gets dramatic because of other influences, other people, other whatever it is. So it's very.
When you say that, recently we were speaking to a couple who came to Costa Rica with their child who's had lots of difficulties with behaviors or going to bed. And they came to Costa Rica, they did the course. Their daughter came with them and just
Was with a
there,
babysitter.
was the babysitter. But now she is behaving well. When we did our recording with them recently, they said, oh, we said, is she is asleep? Because we recorded it in the evening. And they said, oh yes, she asked to be put in her crib 10 minutes before it was her bedtime. She just came up and said, crib, crib. That when you say other people are dramatic, what if it's you requiring them to be dramatic so that you can be distracted from, say, your nerves for opening night? Will they like this show this year? Well, all of the unknowns that go with it, compounded with you had all those dramatic situations in the past.
And you survived with them.
You not only survived,
Successfully survived.
you sold out months and months in advance. You were highly acclaimed. Some part of you may have sandwiched that together like a panini machine. You've got the protein of
Choice.
your show, but you've got all the garnish in there of drama. It's now baked together, and you're afraid that if you don't have
If
that
you
extras,
were to let go of the drama, would you be successful? That's a good question.
It's a good question. And what you just, it rings so true. And it feels relieving to listen to that.
What's the answer to that, my friend?
The answer to that, I'm sorry, I didn't get.
what is the answer to would you still be successful without all the drama?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Hello.
how is that possible?
Especially since we have do not disturb on. Okay, we're back. We know that you heard the phone ring. Our phone is on silent. So the only way a call could come through is if they redialed multiple times. So we took it thinking it might be something urgent, and it was. A friend of ours is in the hospital, and her husband wanted to let us know that she's had a stroke. And so we took care of that. I'm really happy we picked it up. But I find it interesting
that when we ask you a question, Ralph, that you find confronting, you create a drama that comes all the way across the ocean to New Jersey.
Now, we can't blame you for any part of that, except for if we play the game that we're responsible for everything in our lives, then it's a fun synergy to have the, by the way, our friend is
doing well.
fine.
She's
She'll be
coming out of
coming home
hospital
today. They're going to be, it was very small. However, I'm sure it was super upsetting for her husband and for
and for
her.
her.
Happy to hear it was small, but I just find the timing very
Coincidental.
yes.
Yeah, that's true. And
Thing.
also, before the phone rang, I was like, oh, I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. I usually don't have any problems also to hear.
Ralph, it would require your shifting the way you approach your life in reality, because creating drama has been a very large part of your life, given that you're a theater owner, actor, performer. Drama is part of that. So what if you're just Ralph and that's enough? Enough to be a successful being.
I love it.
Yeah, so do I.
It feels so natural, and it feels so available also. After I was in the beginning of the year with you guys in Costa Rica, and since I'm back and now talking to you, it feels available, that more is possible into that drama-free zone that I could step in. And also, yeah, it just it seems that this is a possibility for me now. I can see it.
That's great.
I love that you came up with first thing, drama gets you attention. And then we were looking at how drama can save you from intimately engaging with your life. It can buy you time while you try to figure out your answers for things. I also think that you can have drama as a strategy where if you don't have it, then success isn't as successful. You have to prove to yourself that you've
overcome
great odds in order, like if you just sat down and wrote your show, like I've always been impressed with the rumor or idea that I heard that J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book within 2 weeks sitting in a coffee shop. She is now more wealthy than the Queen of England, and now it's king, but at the time she became more wealthy. And it was unique. and incredible. And she has this huge following of readers for all the books and movies and whatnot. But likely sitting down and writing it was not a particularly dramatic process. It was just, she just did it.
Mhm.
But we've been trained that if it, oh God, I had to pull the words out of me, that has more value.
Yeah, it's a yes, it has more value. It has to be difficult. I also can see, looking back, that I feel more alive. When I have drama around me, it feels like I have more energy going through my body. I feel more alive.
I
More important.
get that. I can get that in a big way because war has the same type of adrenalized push that soldiers come back from war. Some of them say, I never felt so alive.
Mm.
Now life is ordinary again.
But you know, it's interesting being with you today, Ralph, because we've known you for many years. We've known you since you were in acting school and heading out for your first audition to get a job. And you got the job, which has led down the road to having that job for many years and then purchasing the theater and now producing things yourself. And of course, whatever additional side work you did in between and now the offshoots. I'm sitting with you today. We are sitting with you, obviously. And I'm looking at your face, and there is a type of life in it that I've never seen before. It's a relaxation that is new, where in my experience of you, you've often had to, in your face, produce a replication of what it looks like to be alive, where today you're being here and it's just gloriously you.
Mhm.
And what a treat.
Thank you. When I said earlier that I can see and feel the possibility for me, I also looked at myself for a moment on the video screen, and I was surprised how I looked. That I don't have, that I saw it in myself too. Like,
That you don't have that extra tension and
yeah,
production, like you're enough.
yes.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes, I like it.
Really a treat
Mm.
being with you today.
Yes, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Our
you're
pleasure.
a gift.
Thank you.
Hey, it's time for the listener feedback spotlight.
It's where we get to hear from people in this amazing listenership and transformation community talking about what's happening in their lives.
I am Colleen in Manhattan, New York, and I love the Living Made Easy seminars and the podcasts because my life has become so easy at work and in my relationship. And when I attend the seminars and the weekend seminars, I find that the accumulation of investing in myself and attributes to me being myself. And I just find that magical.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
As we were speaking about what happened for me listening to you at the beginning of the podcast, I realized, Shia, that's why a lot of people come every week and sometimes twice a week to our Living Made Easy seminars. They are 2-hour virtual events that allow us to listen to each other, drop into the moment, express ourselves, see other people in the community. If you haven't been to one, we highly recommend it. If you are a regular attendee, thank you. It's such a treat to have people in this community join us on Mondays and Saturdays and the occasional Tuesdays. The next Living Made Easy is this Saturday, the following Monday. You can find our schedule at transformationmadeeasy.com. And they are, as I said, 2-hour virtual events. Our next weekend and seminars altogether are in Hamburg, Germany.
April 18th is the Freedom to Breathe. The 19th through the 21st is Simplicity.
So happy we're going. And then we do a Monday night live there in Hamburg before returning back to
The States.
although we are going to go
to
to Cologne on the way
Yeah.
and see Ralph and Orna's show. I'm very excited about it.
Yes,
It's always a treat. It's in a Cologne dialect, which we don't speak, even many Germans don't speak, but they are always so funny that I am always feeling included.
and the audience participation is
An event in itself.
an experience. Yes.
Yes. Oh, by the way, if you haven't yet signed up for Costa Rica 2025, it is open. The early registration discount is May 1st. Those are our longer courses next January. And we have one more course that is now open. It's our virtual weekend in June 8th and 9th, Magical Relationships. So that's what we have coming up. You can find out all about that on our website, transformationmadeeasy.com. And if you want the information to come to you regularly in your inbox, just go ahead and sign up for our newsletter. Let's take our
There you
next
have
guest.
it. Arna,
Welcome.
are you here?
Welcome to being here.
Yes, thank you. This is Arne from Cologne.
Yes.
And it's a great pleasure to be here with you and also with Ralph in one show. Yeah, and I heard all the talking and it's fabulous. So before I was in a hurry today because to make things complete or also, but when you did the opening, it was so great. And I remembered, or I know that I experienced simplicity with you both in Costa Rica this year in January. It was a fantastic time for me, a great time. And that was also simple. And
well, we really appreciated having you and Ralph not only come for both weeks, but you came early to participate on the logistics team. And it was very fun to watch your face, Arna, when you guys got there and we're like, so what we're going to do today is now you're going to go to sleep or take a nap or do nothing, and we'll meet you at dinner. And your face was like, what? I don't have to get to work immediately. It's what we did was looked and saw that you guys, even though you'd come in the day before.
So you move through 6 time zones or so from, or 7, I believe, actually, from Hamburg to Costa Rica.
And it was time for a nap.
Right.
yeah, that's true. I didn't thought about that, but I slept a lot in Costa Rica, and that was good. And after the time in Costa Rica, here in Cologne, it's all simple, I must say, and I like it. The shows that I played, so the dance steps are more easy. The acting is more easy. I have more air, and it's all simple. And I didn't thought about that before.
Right.
And
As you say that, I get a picture of you, two versions of you on stage doing the dance steps or singing. And I think if you're thinking about what you're going to do, even like a microsecond before you do it, it has to make the dance steps more complex.
Mhm.
But if you're just there expressing yourself in dance, trusting that you know what you're up to, you know, the rehearsals, it's muscle memory. There you go.
Yeah,
It's very simple.
mhm. It's true. And I like it so much. And yeah, and I'm looking forward when you are seeing the show. You mentioned that before. And when we meet us in Hamburg at the seminar, it's so great.
That's great. Now, well, I have a suggestion.
Yes,
Don't look forward to it.
good.
Right.
You know,
Because then you'll disregard the magic that's happening in your life in this moment of your life and the next moment of your life. You'll be thinking about this future moment as though it'll be so much better. I have a quick story.
hmm,
When I was 20 years old, I was going to New York University and I had a next door neighbor building over. Her name was Wendy. And she had a girlfriend who came from Detroit. Her name was Sharon. And Sharon and I went out on a date and we were in love. It was very sexy, very sexy. And
20-year-old in love.
right,
Hormones
hormones
amok.
amok, right.
Right.
And I was heading off to Hawaii to go surfing. The excuse was I was going to the University of Hawaii for a semester to study something that I couldn't do at New York University. And so I went there and I thought about Sharon all the time. And I was there surfing. And so there were all these beautiful young ladies, surf bunnies, that were there on the beach. And I avoided most, well, a lot of them. I couldn't help myself when I didn't, but because in any event, even when I was with these women, I was thinking about Sharon, until I flew back home to New York and stopped in Detroit. And I spent a day or two with Sharon. And I thought, what was I doing thinking about this person when I had a whole life over there? If you think about something in your future is going to be better, when you get there, you bring you and the way you experience life to that moment, to the next moment.
I mean, it is paradoxical because we are, on one hand, looking forward to Hamburg, or, if we use the vernacular, we're happy to be going. We're happy to be going with you. We're thrilled you invited us. However, when I'm here today, involved in what I'm involved in,
the thoughts of you do not exist because you can only be in what you're up to, really.
what's lovely about that is then when I see you, it's like, Arna, as opposed to, oh yeah, we're going to see you in a few months here, or a few weeks.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not tarnished by someday it'll be better when we get together.
Mhm. Yeah, true. I can see that.
So did you have any other things you wanted to discuss, or questions or comments?
So yeah, I heard the show, and I'm good in a way, but the general question is, why gets life and work so complex?
Well, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe you make it complex. Maybe you're doing more than one thing at a time or attempting to, when in fact you could only be doing one thing at a time.
Mm.
So that would complexify everything. When I make breakfast for us, quite a few things are going on. I'm making coffee, I'm making eggs, I'm making bacon or sausage.
Or cutting an avocado.
Cutting an avocado, cutting some tomato. I'm doing all these things, but I'm only doing one at a time. And so that simplifies it. But if I'm thinking about cutting tomatoes when I'm frying eggs, I burn the eggs.
Mm.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you were a teenager, were you ever bored? You're like, ah, I'm bored. This is boring. I don't want to do this. It's boring.
S- some things, yeah, but I was always
Doing.
doing all the time. Yeah.
Okay. I, I have a feeling that complexity for you could also be an avoidance of moments of blah. I'll tell you what I mean by that. At the end of Costa Rica courses that we did this year, Shai and I prepared to go to a wildlife refuge and do some fishing and picture taking and whatnot. And as we were getting ready to go, I was not feeling at all excited about taking pictures. In fact, in that moment, I just had no interest in it. And I said, Jai, I'm feeling really blah about taking pictures. And he said, oh, that's okay. You're not there yet. Is it okay if you're blah? And I looked at it and I said, yeah, it's fine. Because we were getting ready to go for a 4 or 5 hour car ride. We were finishing things up at the hotel.
And there was nothing to take pictures of.
So it didn't evoke that passion. And somewhere in my mind, I have the idea that I should be passionate at all times about all things I'm passionate about, which puts an incredible pressure on me. We went on the ride and we got there and suddenly I saw something and I'm whipping out my camera and I'm taking close-ups, and I mean we couldn't even walk down to the reserve without my seeing flowers or birds or this or that and running off to take pictures. It activated that part of me that had been resting for a while. And I'm not sure that you let yourself rest when it's rest time, that you have a requirement to be on all the time.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And
True.
I actually think that's why everything got simpler. Dance moves got easier. You had more air. You didn't use all this energy in Costa Rica for that which you were not doing at the time.
Yeah.
Even forgot for large portions of the time that you had a theater, that there were understudies playing your part, that and all the things that go on with being a theater owner, producer, and an actor.
Yeah, that was easy for me in Costa Rica to forget this, all that. And
Well, wait a second. I don't know that you forgot all that. It existed in your experience, but you weren't engaged in that. You were engaged in the course we were in. You were engaged in conversation with your fellow participants. You were engaged in the taste of the papayas and the pineapple.
yeah,
And we're speaking to you today in your home office. And there
yes.
are times as we're speaking, I know you forget you're even sitting in your home office. And if you look around, I'm certain there are incomplete projects on your desk, as in there are things you're in the midst of. It's really about allowing yourself to set things down when you're not engaged in them, rather than keeping them like a plate spinner at the circus
Theater.
where you're always spinning the plates so they don't drop.
Oh, that's a great picture. Yes. Thank you.
So I'm just saying that ability has followed you home. You just haven't perhaps noticed it. And you have in some areas, but I think you can give yourself license to breathe. which is part of why we're doing the Freedom to Breathe in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know?
Wonderful. Wow.
Excellent.
Thank you both.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you so
thank
much for
you.
being with us today.
My pleasure.
Yes.
You know, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends. And people deserve to have what's possible in their lives. And again, we're inviting you to our Living Made Easy seminars, our weekends. You know, if you'd like to come, please join us. Recently, a friend who'd come to Costa Rica had his whole family, his wife, his sister, his parents, they came to Living Made Easy with him because so much had happened and he wanted to share it with them. And it was lovely. So we invite you, we invite anybody you would like to join you. And again, you can find out anything about our courses at transformationmadeeasy.com. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
You don't miss.
Big